Ready.
There it goes.
Oh, you're recording. Cool.
All right. Ta-da. Cool. So you're looking to do some cold calling.
Exactly.
All right. I threw something together. Let's see if how much of this is relevant, just to kind of get on the same page.
Cool. I appreciate this, taking the time out.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Like the whole thing. I did this with one of the other guys in copywriting course. And I love, right, this question because it's so intense. Okay, so let's see what happens. This is all going to be an experiment. What the heck? All right. I freaking hate cold callers. Right? Don't you? Like,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Besides the interruption, the deception, they don't offer anything of value, right? Just crap. Yeah, get these guys all the time. Hate it. Let's see. So, right, this is really hard to read. But my favorite kind of cold caller, and I've only had very few of them, right, is they get to the point ASAP. I've ideally asked them ahead of time to contact me, but they're going to prove they can get me some money, solve a problem. They're doing something for me, right? And when I think back to the guys, when I was doing some stuff for commercial roofing, we were looking at a bunch of lead generation companies, and that's what you're doing, right? Like, you're basically getting these people leads, right?
Right.
Okay. It's the reason why we chose the ones we chose is because, not a, it, they talked in this language that I thought that was really good, that we don't want to be an expense. We want to be an investment, right? We're going to minimize your risk because you can give up the service anytime you want. There's not going to be any weird setup fees, right? Stuff like that. I was looking through, since the boy Voss,
Oh, it's best book I ever read.
right? It's crazy. One of the things that I was looking through this morning was this certainty effect, that people will choose something that guarantees a sure thing over something that has a risk, right? So even though the risk might pay off a lot more, they'll still avoid it because it's this sense of, I might lose something, right? Now you've got how many people? 7 people signed up or something?
8, but maybe 9 today.
And how did you get those guys?
So a lot of it was kind of warmish relationship on Instagram, like coaches that I, highlighted their content before. And then the other half were fairly cold, but like on Instagram direct message. So it wasn't like picking up a phone and calling a lawyer. It was like, hey, your content's amazing. I'm looking at it right now. Would you like to be featured? Where we can, well, and I'll have to craft that pitch. But yes, it was coldish warm at max. What I get scared, like where I'm really going to be able to scale, is like I've got a Google list of 5 lawyers in Atlanta. And if I could, shop through that, but they've never heard of me. There are a lot of gatekeepers. They those resistance blocks that I haven't had any experience trying to cut through.
Yeah, right. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to suggest you don't cold call, in the sense of you're trying to just be a friend and to help these people, right? That you're trying to get some insight and give them maybe something that they haven't heard of before, and get them some results, you know?
Mhm.
First of all, if you just do it, congratulations. You've right, you're over 90% of the people that 95% of the people out there, because it's freaking scary. It's hard enough to get up in front of a room of people, let alone talk with complete strangers, because you don't want to be a pain in their ass, right?
Mhm.
Like, um, when I've cold called in the past, one of the best things I ever did, it was it was great market research, because I would get people on the line, like a lot of the calls wouldn't go through, or we'd go through the voicemail or whatever. But the ones that I did get through to talk to were so gave me so much help, right? In terms of telling me how they were already working, and therefore why they didn't really need this document scanning solution that I was selling. Um, that and that right there, if I would have done that research ahead of time, it would have saved me so much work, because I wouldn't have been trying to sell this document scanning solution for $7,000 when people are like just scanning that shit to PDF with their printer, right?
Mhm.
Um, so when you're calling them, seems like what you want to do is you're trying to warm them up. First of all, see if they even want your help, see, right? So that you
Want
can
my help?
do they even want your service?
All right. So how do you, that's, I guess, where I stumble. Tell them what the service is, but also hear what they're using, what they need, just like that little,
Yeah.
that opener in conversation of where, and I know Dan says, really just be curious about what they're looking for. So that's where I am. Like, do you want my service? Can I prove that my service works? And just like those little quick hurdles that are probably 20 seconds, I just need the reps in.
Right. So we'll get to that in a second. You got these guys for your competition.
Mhm.
Who else is, where else are people getting leads from? Do you know?
I think there are some lawyer directories like AVVO, AVO, NOLO. There are directory lead sites that do rank, first page.
Hmm.
So where I think they're already they're getting a free listing or they're paying for a monthly in a similar way.
So do you have any plans for competing with them?
Well, I mean, it's a good model of what I'm doing. And actually, just even looking at Avo's site, you see ad, like sponsored listings. I was like, well, these Neville and Dan say, find people that are already paying for advertising. They'll probably be a little easier to say. So yes, I'd like to. I mean, I don't have the SEO juice. That would take years to get there. But what I do have is I'm very niche. I'm not a lawyer site. I'm a divorce site. So it's a little more specific.
Yeah. And do you have your numbers on your traffic?
So our Instagram is 10,000 followers. It's grown 4x in the last 2 months. We had 56 million views on our content in May. Our website and our directory is fairly new, so we're just now growing it, but we are getting visits every day. I'll have to figure out if that number is something worth sharing, if it's worth embellishing, if it's because I know that's what people want to hear. How many people are seeing your stuff? And the one objection I got, and you can marinate on this, is I actually had this guy on the podcast. He loved me, but he was kind of hesitant. He's like, "Oh, I'll talk to my marketing about it," which is funny because $300 to a lawyer you would think is nothing. And we just had this great conversation that he would still be held up. But he even said, like you said, you find out what their objections are on a call. Well, I just don't like. I think somebody would be searching Toronto divorce lawyer near me when they're looking on Google for a lawyer. So I'm not sure how they would find it from there. I didn't have a great response at the time, but I
Yeah.
do know we're more of a top of funnel thing. And also that Google result of Toronto divorce lawyer near me could cost $50 a click. So there's a couple different ways to handle that objection, but he's right. Directly, he's not going to get the same traffic and results that he would
Yeah.
get from running a Google ad. But as we know, Google ads are way more expensive and competitive.
Yeah. Like, we were every single firm that wanted to pitch us on getting leads was, hey, we're going to have, $1,500 a month. And basically we're Google ads management. You're going to have whatever your budget for your Google ads. And, a lot of the firms were even like 3,000 a month and then $1,500 a month for Google ads. So that's something that can feel really, like insta results, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you want to get straight to how you're going to talk to these people?
Yeah, why not? And I love the accusations on it. I'm trying to, like, even just talking about the Google ads is something you can bring up. Like, Google ads are going to get you a lot, quicker, tighter results. They're all, you never want to say but, Chris Voss says, right? Because it negates the whole first thing. They're going to cost you a lot more money. So a way, I guess, to frame what they're thinking is, I have stuff that works, or I know stuff that works better. So, but yeah, let's get into it. I'd love to hear how you would do it and critique my intro. Because again, I think it's those first 20 seconds, especially with a gatekeeper, that's where I stumble.
Okay, so your script. Do you got a script? Probably not, right?
No, Dan kind of wrote me. We worked on together like a pretty short one that I do have. But
Okay.
yes, I'm open to rewriting it, especially those first 5 sentences.
Right. So, do you want to try and do one?
Sure. I'm very ill prepared, but I can. So Donovan, you're the lawyer, I guess, that I'm calling.
Yeah.
Okay, this is super unprepared, but this is the best way to do it. Hey, may I speak to Donovan, please? This is Rob.
This is Donovan.
Hey, Donovan. I was calling to see. Yeah, it's already.
I was calling to see.
Right. Well, I'm trying to think. Yes, exactly. I'm trying to think if I pitch my thing or if I ask you, how are you getting majority of your clients right now? Or are you having any success through online advertising?
Can I just let's just go straight to the point. As soon as I get the sense you're trying to sell me something, first of all, if I even answer the freaking call, right? But if I get the sense that you're trying to sell me something, all the walls go up.
Right.
How about this? What about, my name's Rob, and I recently was going through a divorce, and I've as just tossing this out here, right? Because this is like kind of spitbally. I recently went through a divorce, and I've been doing this thing where I've was talking about it on social media. I got 53 million views on Instagram, and I'm decided that I wanted to try and start a lead generation company. Do you have any interest in that? I don't know, something like that, right? Like, that's, somebody said, dude, I got 53 million. What? Like,
I like that, how you started with your story, because it's real. You're not pitching, right? Avoiding pitching in the very beginning seems like a very important obstacle not to step into. So
yeah, like, and you're being honest and
right.
straightforward. A couple months ago, I started doing this thing where I was, building an audience for divorcees, and have been getting really good results. There's, and I'm wondering if I could generate leads for you, would that be of benefit to you? And the reason why you're going to do a script and you're going to practice it in front of a mirror is because you really need to just, when you're the deer in the headlights, when it's like Johnny on the spot, then if you've practiced it and you've gone through it and you've already kind of got those things memorized, it's going to really help you. Right? So want to try again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess we can get to this, but I assume 90% of the time it's going to be a secretary is going to answer.
Okay. I can play with secretary.
Well, we haven't addressed how to handle that objection. We'll pretend like it's Donovan, just to we'll get this one done first.
But
hey, may I speak with?
Yeah, you could pretend that I'm a secretary because I can do that one.
Well, I don't know how to fight through that yet, but we'll try. All right.
Try. Yeah, the only way you're just gonna grunt.
Yeah.
Grunt.
Hey, may I speak with Donovan, please?
Who's calling?
My name is Rob Roseman, and I recently went through a divorce, and I've created a. Oh, gosh.
I recently went through a divorce, and I have some questions that I want to ask. Whatever, or like, why the hell? She's the VP of No, so to speak. I don't know. There's a great book called The VP of No. No, gatekeeper. Sorry. Right. You can get through them, but you better have like business. Like you have to have something worth getting through.
Yeah. Right. So I recently went through a divorce. 2 years ago, I went through a divorce. I built up a community with 50 million Instagram views. We've hit 50 million on Instagram. I wanted to know if you'd be interested in connecting with our audience and getting more business.
Okay. This is Frank. What can I do for you?
Oh, Frank's the lawyer?
Sure.
All right. Hey, Frank. My name is Rob Roseman. I got divorced 2 years ago and kind of inspired me to help other people going through divorce. I've built up a massive following on social media of people thinking about divorce or going through it. And I've connected with a lot of lawyers and coaches in your industry, and we're getting them a lot of leads and clients. I wanted to know if that would be something you'd be interested in.
Okay. That was interesting. I will say that second part of that first sentence was a little bit like it was about you.
Yeah.
Rather than your credit. Like it immediately got me going,
Yeah.
But once you started getting into
yeah.
Once you started getting directly into the results, because you're just trying to tell him what you can do for him, right? I'm gonna, and establish credibility that you're gonna, right? So what have you been doing? Great, you got all these results. I mean, you got all these viewers, so.
So what we're doing is on social media, we're connecting a lot of our viewers with the lawyers, and we built up a directory. Are you familiar with Avo and findalawyer.com?
Avo, my mind went, wait,
right.
Findalawyer.com. Okay, I get that. So findalawyer.com. I wouldn't even get into personally, I wouldn't get into those.
Yeah. Comps. What are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
I just need to describe what I'm doing, but more importantly, describe how it'll help them.
Yeah.
So I realized I went through a divorce. I knew how brutal it was. I started connecting with a lot of other people that were going through divorce. I created it. I know it's a lot of I's, but how do I describe what I'm doing quickly without saying
So I started creating this community, and I've been getting really good results.
I created this community called What the Fuck Divorce. Would you say what it is? WTF Divorce?
WTF Divorce. Yeah, I wouldn't even get into that yet, because immediately I would be going, who's this wacko with what the fuck divorce?
Right.
Like it immediately from a brand perspective is not feel professional.
A red flag, yeah, until you know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I created a community. We've got over 10,000 followers on Instagram, over 50 million views on Instagram. and we've been helping lawyers connect with a lot of these divorced and thinking about divorced men and women and lead them to their practices.
What's Instagram?
So Instagram is a really popular social media channel where a lot of men and women are going to find out if they should get divorced, if they should hire a lawyer, what kind of lawyer should they hire? All these questions that we're helping them wade through on our site and our Instagram. And now we're growing and we're connecting the lawyers with these people directly.
And
I wanted to see if you'd be interested in joining our community.
why would I want to do that?
Well, we'd be getting you more business in your area. I imagine a lot of your business is referral and word of mouth.
Yeah, most of it is.
So we're getting a lot of traffic on our site of people thinking about divorce, and we're connecting them with divorce attorneys like you.
Okay, when the thing that's automatically going through my head is, are these like targeted leads?
Targeted leads?
Yeah, are you target, like say I happen to know about how all this stuff worked, right? Like targeted leads for my area, right? Like, so one of the things that I was doing in my previous position was we were part of this really interesting network where this company had 30 roofers across the nation. And what they would do is they would they were kind of pitching themselves as like an umbrella organization, and what they would do, so it would give them like really good search rank because they were this national roofing consultants. And what happened is they would get people to a page, the people would kind of play with this little gauge, then get a rough idea of the quote cost, and then they would call a number, and if that number was in our area, it would get like referred to us, right, as a call, and show up in our and then it was this whole process where here's your lead funnel, here's your proposal, like the whole thing. It was really well thought out. Okay, so for this guy to give a shit about you, you're gonna, like, why would 10,000 people, if I even had a clue about technology, I would know 10,000 is whatever.
Right.
Like,
assume people don't even know what Instagram is, or
yeah.
I mean, and that is, to be honest, a part of my hesitation and imposter syndrome is, yes, I don't have a well-oiled machine like that roofing company that's getting them direct leads and things. This is kind of a take a shot and be associated with a really growing popular brand on social media. And that's why I guess we didn't get into price, but that's why this is $25 a month. This isn't $1,500 a month. If I was asking for that, I really would better have some results. So
well, yeah, $25 a month feels low. Like, right? Like, how much are they paying the lawyer website for their ranking, right?
Yeah,
like somebody convinced them to be a part of that lawyer website. They're probably paying
$100 a month,
maybe, right? And it's so like, let's kind of just take it for a second. I wonder if you could find out if these people are, what if it was like this? Hey, my name's Rob. A couple years ago, I got divorced and I've built this pretty crazy online community. And I'm trying to figure out if people even want the service. Like, I think I feel pretty good about connecting them to leads, but I'm trying to understand the market. And, it seems like a lot of people are members of these directories. Do those directories even give you good results?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are they crap? Or like, where do you get do trying to figure out
Mm.
what your competition is,
Mm-hmm. Like
right?
almost make that the goal of the call. Don't
That's,
even.
I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you can get the guy to like kick down $25 a month, which is ridiculously nothing, like for an ad, it's kind of, in my opinion, it's a bit of a joke because we were paying $500 a lead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, whatever. Like, um, and the company that was calling on our behalf, we had this company called Gen Sales. They would cold call anywhere from 100 to 150 people to get the one lead for $500. And that's all they did all day long. They had a contact list, just go through. They only charged us for the lead that they got. Could leave at any time, no
Mm-hmm.
risk. But it was, and there may be something like that that could work for you as well,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. That might be a,
Well, I think, and I've talked to a guy about this directory idea, and he said your best bet is going to be turning it into a lead gen business. So I think that is probably what the direction I'd like to go. But for now, I'd like to make some money, build some authority, and I am helping people out. It's like
yeah.
on Instagram, this woman said, "Oh, I just signed a client," and she asked where she heard of him, and she was like, "Oh, I saw you on WTF Divorce." So to her, she got her money's worth quickly.
Yeah, so maybe that's part of your conversation with this guy, Mr. Lawyer, right? Is, I think I might be onto something.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are, you know, I'm having people contact me through social
Right.
media, and they're telling me that I'm generating leads, and I'm looking at, maybe turning this into a lead gen service.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just wondering, I'm trying to do a little bit of market research,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, when people don't feel like they're being sold, that can be pretty helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll find some nice people who give you 5 minutes of their time,
Mm-hmm.
and that I think is something to consider.
How do you, yeah, I like this idea, story, and then right into this curiosity of what is
I'm just,
working for you or not working for you.
yeah, like, and you could even just maybe consider being totally vulnerable and going, I think that I have this good idea, but I'm not really sure because I don't really understand the market and how people generate leads. Do they, if you have 5 minutes of your precious time, and you may not, because he's a lawyer and he charges by them, whatever. But if you could just get them to talk and tell
Mm-hmm.
you, what the fuck they do,
Mm-hmm.
how do they already generate their leads, and that right there, that knowledge of market research is pretty
Mm-hmm.
freaking valuable.
And how
Like,
would you, if I got to that point, all right, this is going well. How do you, this is where I struggled even with my attorney that I did talk to. It's like, how do you end that call? Is there a call to action? I know I haven't been selling this whole point. It'd be like,
yeah, well, the way you're going to sell them, if you're going to sell them as you go along, kind of a soft sell, but it's
mm-hmm.
like, just tell your story,
Mm-hmm.
right? I I didn't know what would happen. I started building this community, and now I'm starting to realize that I'm generating leads
Mm-hmm.
and people are actually getting business out of it. And I think there might be something here. But I'm trying to do market research to figure out, where people get their leads from. Because and, I understand that people primarily get them as referrals. Is that true? Right? Like, no, that's not true. I get plenty of leads through Facebook, or I get leads through whatever. Like, maybe whatever it is, you're just,
Right.
I
Well, I
prefer,
imagine, right, it is, yes, we get a lot of it as word of mouth and referral. So then I guess that's
but
where sometimes I'm like, he
that's,
hits the ball back to me. What is my final shot, or what is my like, okay, would you be interested in, joining our directory and getting your name out there to other people looking for attorneys in Atlanta?
I would be interested. However, I'm also just going to be like the perfect mind reading customer here. And I'm going to tell you what's on my mind. I really feel nervous about that because I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about the results you can give me. So if you're going to give me results and it's going to be risk-free, I would consider that. Um,
Well, what's interesting, yes, and I'd be curious to see how you would handle that objection if you were me. And I guess the other thing, and I'll tell you, is a lot of these directories that are probably my competitors, or ideally, are they'll list people for free, and then you pay for like to get your website on the profile right in front of it. They like upsell you on a premium thing, but they'll, without you even asking Donovan the lawyer, I need a minute, Cameron. They'll list you for free, and then it's up to you to kind of upsell it. I am not there yet, but I think that's an interesting like angle where I could go. Does that make sense?
yeah, it also feels potentially messy, but
Well, it's messy, and I bet you 80% of those people on there are free. And right, what do I want to be spending tons? I mean, it would look good if I had 5,000 attorneys on my site, but that's a little more ambitious. And right now, it would be cool to close 10 deals and make $3,000.
yeah. Where have you, do you have a specific area that you've been getting your leads for,
They've
generating
been
leads for?
all, so I paid somebody to scrape Google My Business. I just said like Atlanta, New York, LA, Houston. I was just like 5 big cities, give me 100 each just to like get name, number. So
Yeah.
that's all I have right now.
Okay. And do you have the people that you've generated, the leads that you've gotten, what markets were those in?
So a
Were
lot
they
of
around the
my,
company, or are they specifically in specific locations?
they're virtual like divorce coaches. So there's a lot of
Okay.
people out there that'll help virtually. So they're not a local based. I mean, I'm sure I could have an attorney friend that's on the site that said they heard of me through that. I don't want to lie about it, but like that's the hopefully where this is in a year, is that people are, I went on this site to learn about divorce. I saw there was a section that said find a lawyer near me, and that's where I found you. And that's like the ambitious goal of it, the no brainer, like, do you want to be on a site? If I could say we're getting 20,000 visits a month kind of thing of people that are thinking about divorce, would you like to be on this site? Seems a little bit more no brainer. It's stats that I guess people would be curious of. If I was ranking for divorce lawyer on the front page, that would be another like, it's very ambitious, but those are the kind of things that might speak to a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they're idiots. They don't know any of that blah blah
Right.
blah.
Right.
They just know, did I get a phone call or not?
Right.
That's all. I pay
So
other.
as somebody put yourself in my shoes, I'm pretty brand new to creating this. So I don't have too many results to share besides anecdotal
But you do
and what
have results. You
I've
have
helped
a
get.
woman who got a lead because she found you on, that's a result.
Right.
You have other results, right?
I've got divorce lawyers and divorce coaches telling me they're getting leads that are coming from my site.
I'm gonna say I would feel more comfortable if somebody was telling me that they was being upfront and honest, about what they were going to give me. And like, if you're just saying that you're getting leads, that, it's some leads, that's more believable than, oh, we're freaking whatever, super duper amazing. And um, so what I would suggest, right, is figuring about your script. I realize that that's weird, but it's good practice, so that when and really, getting in front of a mirror and doing it, because you're talking to yourself. Hey, Rob, yeah, I got this great site. No, that sounds wrong, right? You're just going to immediately get it. Like when you start talking to yourself, if you were to talk to yourself and you're being Mr. Skeptical, like I have a mirror sitting right over here, because I can look at myself. If I need to talk to myself, I can see my face. I can, like, it's huge. And I think that so practicing is something that a lot of people want a shortcut. This is what's going to happen. You get on the phone and you're going to practice the painful way, right? You're going to get a guy on the phone, you're going to fuck up, and then you're going to be like, oh man. Versus, can you get ahead of the curve and practice it? Half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever, anything. Get the script kind of going, and it's just conversational, because you're going to find that you're going to get down these rabbit holes really quickly, and you're going to lose people if you start talking about any jargon and blah 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 blah, right?
What about, could it be sorry to interrupt,
no,
could I send you more info on it? Like if we're conversationally telling me, could I send you an email with a little more info on it, like as a really soft call to action at the end?
If he's interested, yeah.
Versus like, would you like to sign up? Seems very like, I'm trying to take you home from the bar, and you're like, no, even if this was interesting, this is too abrupt, right?
This is what before I sign anything, I would want to see proof. I'd want to see not only proof of results, which everybody can freaking lie about. I'd want to see proof of process. Maybe if you got a process, if you got something, for example, this is what's going to happen, right? As you dive into understanding your audience more, you're going to get some interesting questions. One of the questions that just popped into my mind is, I realize that you're a lawyer in Atlanta. Do you ever handle divorces in other states?
It's a good no question too.
If I can handle divorce in any state, then those leads become a little bit more, right? If they got virtual consultants,
I don't think they can. But it is a good but I tell you what, I did talk to a lawyer. I have had some phone. It's amazing how much easier this is over email and text versus like getting on the phone. But he said he's in Florida. He's a friend of mine who's a divorce lawyer, and he's connecting me with other kind of realtors, mortgage brokers. He's like, I got New York lawyers because a lot of New York people move down to Florida. So he's like, he's like, I work with a lot of lawyers in New York, even though I can only practice in Florida. I have dealings with other lawyers. I don't know how that applies here, but so yes, I think they are limited to their state. And that was an objection. It's like, how are you going to get me people in Toronto? And it's like, well, I'm getting you people from everywhere, and hopefully some of those people are from Toronto, right?
And that's that's going to be a huge one, right? It's so because you have your customers who are more virtual, right? That you were saying they're like virtual
coaches.
Helping, because here's the thing. lawyers need to be, maybe lawyers need to be a specific location, but there's these divorce coaches that can be anywhere.
Yeah,
Like
they've been
how,
easier. They've been an easier hook. I think they have less money to spend. That the lawyer, I'm like, well, they have. To me, this is a penny drop in the bucket for them. A divorce coach is like they're marketing on social media. They're already doing this. They're already in this
yeah,
world. They understand it. They're like they have 300 followers now. How hard it is to get any traction on a post. So when I mention them, and to your point earlier, like send them evidence, like I would screenshot it, I would put an arrow that just says 91 people went to @Donovan's Instagram profile. To them, that's like catnip. They're like, oh my god, I would just want somebody to see me. A lawyer is more removed from that. So right, I mean, there's probably a different approach for a virtual divorce coach that's already on social media, and a divorce lawyer that's like, I don't deal with that, but I need business.
right. Like it makes sense that it would be it would be better, because it's, it doesn't matter whether or not you're targeted. So like what our roof lead gen company would do is, using Google ads, they could get very targeted about a region.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here it is, you can just draw out the map, and this is, we're only going to advertise in this region. Until you find a way to do that, you don't really have a way to provide a targeted lead,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so maybe the market becomes more this virtual coach kind of communications thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where, to be honest, I started all of this for like life after divorce.
Yeah,
It was only when I started growing it, and I was like, well, the real business would be getting lawyers involved in this. So can I talk about going through divorce? Sure, I can talk about that. So that's a more recent development, and in my head, maybe harder to get them to sign, but a easier. They have thousands of dollars versus a divorce coach. 300 could be their whole marketing budget for the year. So it's like two different problems. One person has the budget, but maybe could care less, and it's a tougher sell. And the other person is interested and understands what I'm doing, but has less money to spend. But that's who I have been signing so far, are these virtual coaches that get it. It's just like, can I crack that divorce lawyer market, and how? And yeah, it's going to be practice in those conversations just to
yeah, right.
get there.
So I think what you're going to find if you start calling these lawyers is, really quickly you're going to hear their objections,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're going to really quickly find out yay or nay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And versus versus um these other consultants might,
Mm-hmm.
that might end up being your actual target market.
Yeah. Well, and I guess again, if I can grow through divorce coaches, again, they know lawyers. So maybe it's like that kind of, well, I work with a ton of lawyers and I can tell them this is bigger. So maybe that's the first real wave that I should go after, and then branch out instead of going for these.
Yeah, but definitely call the lawyers,
Yeah.
and when you
Just to
do,
get the practice.
get the practice, and you know just try to have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
smile, be thankful for
How
their
would
time,
how would you end that call, Donovan? This has been super helpful because you gave me a starting point, a curiosity middle. What's that look like when he's like, okay, now what do you want, Donovan?
if okay, first of all, thanks for your time. It's been super helpful. You've given me so much insight. uh I I'm offering this service that it sounds like you might be interested in, because we're generating leads in your specific market. See, the problem for me is that I can't tell him that, right? I can't tell
Mm-hmm.
him that I'm going to give him the results, because I haven't heard you say that yet,
Right.
right? And until I can do that, like this might, I would feel so much better cold calling cold calling your existing target market. Right? The cold
Coaches, you
calling
mean?
the lawyers, I'm going to do it because I want to find out if they're even interested. Right? And I bet that your lawyer friend nailed what they're going to all ask. That's going to be one of the objections. Can you get them in my area? So, but if I did have a list of virtual coaches, communication coaches, then your leads, it doesn't matter where they're coming from. Just call them on the phone, get a Zoom call, like whatever it is. Like, that's easy. That's feels like an easier sell.
Okay, so use the lawyers as practice cold calling, getting used to some pain and figuring out their pain point, but
Yeah,
depend on really focus on signing these coaches.
yeah. Like it feels like that's where those guys are going to be, right? That it's going to be, but like I said, you're not going to know until you actually call the freaking lawyers and get the rejections.
Right.
And so
it's a numbers game too, right? I mean, it's going to be you can't call 2, you got to call 20 and maybe you'll get 1. But if you call 3, you're probably going to get 0.
Yeah. And when you get one, my advice, be just like, thank you for talking to me.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm nobody, but I'm not trying to be a pain in your ass, but I'm also trying to give you something of value. How do I do that? And just telling them, I got 53 million views on my Instagram channel, and I started thinking, maybe I'm onto something here. What do you think? Is this crazy? Like, I'm just doing a little market research that I'd call up a couple of lawyers and see, thanks for your time, just 10 minutes or whatever. And who knows, maybe they talk, just be super respectful, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy in this modern world. So many people freaking are dicks. Like, they don't respect your time. They don't give a shit about you. And I think that's bad karma. And I think that's why we all hate cold callers, because they're jerks. They don't, it's like somebody walking up to me on the street trying to sell me some shit, or, just be a person and have a conversation with them. And that, I think, is going to go.
Yeah, it seems like you're saying lean into the fact that I'm just starting out, just seeing if this works. Don't come with I have these stats that are like cold call-y and also lies. It's, lean into the fact that I want to know how this works. I want to help lawyers. Is this something that
that's cool. All you want to do. You're just trying to help. Honestly, trying to help.
Yeah.
If you make a buck along the way, cool. But first of all, you're just trying to help. And you're trying to understand what the hell is going on here. And,
All right. I love it. This has been very, very helpful because you gave me like a mindset, a start, an ending. How is your gatekeeper? Hey, this is Sarah at Johnson & Johnson. What's your trick for getting to talk to somebody? Dan actually just sent out a how to deal with the gatekeeper thing that I have to study up. But do you have any thoughts when you would run into that?
I would just be straight up, try being honest.
But you want to talk to Donovan, the lawyer. You don't really want to pitch Susie, the secretary.
I'm calling, my name's Rob, and I was recently divorced, and I think I might see. The question is, well, yeah, if Susie the gatekeeper was gonna let me through to bother my boss, it better be a good reason why. Yeah, it's not just gonna be, can I call you back, or he's busy right now.
Or it could be, can I send you some info about it? Maybe at least that's easier.
It is, and it's pretty much, I think it's not going to get you the results you want. You're trying to figure out how to get through to the guy, right?
Right.
And why you're actually really important, and you actually have something of value. Like, I got I have this business where I got 53 million viewers on social media, and I think I'm onto something. So I'm trying to do a little bit of market research. And when you say that, it's pretty clear you're being honest. You're not being full of shit, and you're the guy. You're not some cold caller dude. It's better to be kind of, I think, just a real person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you totally changed my mindset of just go in, don't be trying to take somebody home from the bar. Just be curious, ask
Yeah,
questions, especially with the lawyers. Use the getting information as the goal more than getting them to sign on.
absolutely. And figuring out how they're running their business, and even say, can I get 5 minutes of your time, asking for permission, being totally respectful all along the way. And that, I think that respect really can carry you a long way in the modern world, where people don't, a lot of
Right.
like cold callers don't give a shit. They're like, just trying to get you to say yes or whatever, right? So,
All right. Awesome.
all right, man.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. I'll be hitting the phone soon, but I'm wrangling kids right here for summer break. This is really making cold calling a little more challenging, but I
Yeah,
mean, I'm committed to it. It's like I have something I believe in that will help people. I need this experience selling. It's already sold. The fact that it's gone from 0 to even 9 shows that there is something there that people are paying for. So I'm confident to be uncomfortable and get the reps in.
awesome.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, Donovan.
Sure thing,
I'll keep you
Rob.
posted.
Okie dokie.